What is going on, everyone? My name is Under the Radar, and welcome back to the Draft League Viabilities. In the last episode, I gave a massive amount of shoutouts, so make sure you guys go back and check out all those guys. Their links will be down in the description again. TheTokenMinorities, Eden's Blessing, RhyQuinn, Keyno, all these amazing people. Make sure you guys go down to the description and click on their links and give them some love for me. But I also covered Lucario, and Lucario is a very interesting mon for so many different reasons, and I hope you guys did enjoy that video. But now in this video, we're going to be talking about a very good pair that I have to go with Lucario, and that is going to be Rotom-W. Rotom-W is a very cool Pokemon because it's not a wall, it's not a tank, it's not a super offensive mon, it's a Rotom. Rotom is just Rotom. There's no classification for it. It can be fat. That's pretty cool. It can be pretty speedy with a Choice Scarf. A Surprise Choice Scarf is always nice. Base 86 speed is not a bad Choice Scarf tier. It's faster than Nidoking and can outspeed the same things that Nidoking can. It can be a very cool wall breaker with like choice specs, and that's awesome. So it can cover basically every single aspect that a mon wants to cover: offensive, defensive, especially defensive, choice scarfed. The only thing it can't really do too well is physical. Rotom also does not have a very wide move pool. Rotom is not a mon that you get for versatility. You get it because it checks the weaknesses to other mons that you want to focus your draft around. For example, Lucario. You want something to take Earthquakes, to take Flare Blitzes, to take Fighting type coverage. This thing can take all of them. It's immune to 1, resists fire, and takes fighting coverage decently well because it's just bulky in general. One thing that I can say I personally really dislike about Rotom is the fact that its only water coverage is Hydro Pump. While that might not seem like a big deal to some people, if you're like me and you have really bad luck with accuracy moves, you could miss a lot of Hydro Pumps, and that's less than ideal. That's why a lot of people run Scald over Hydro Pump. However, when you look at this thing, most things that want to switch in because they're immune to Volt Switch, how many of them enjoy taking Hydro Pumps? We got Lando, we got Garchomp, we got Hippowdon, we got Excadrill, we got all these ground types that want to switch in on Volt Switches to prevent them from Volt Switching. How many of them enjoy taking Hydro Pumps? I'll answer that for you, and I'll say 0. So the fact that you have a mon that can Volt Switch basically for free because ground types can't switch in for no reason whatsoever, it can always gain you momentum. You can have a slow Volt Switch into Lucario to take the hit with Rotom, go into Lucario, drop it in, and nuke something. You can have a very fast Volt Switch with a Choice Scarf Volt Switch and get into another wall to take on the offensive mon, and that's pretty cool. This thing also gets access to some pretty cool status moves in general, the first one being Will-O-Wisp. How many water-type Pokemon do you know that actually get Will-O-Wisp? There's like Jellicent and like maybe one more that I'm not thinking of right off the top of my head, but the fact that this thing can burn things makes it really unique, because now you don't need to have Scald. You can run Hydro Pump and Will-O-Wisp, have power and burning all at the same time. Another really cool thing is the fact that this thing can get Thunder Wave. Since it can Thunder Wave offensive threats that are much faster than Lucario that might want to come in and set up on this thing, you can Thunder Wave it. Now Lucario can outspeed it and one-shot it because it just hits so freaking hard. There are some things that kind of sort of scare Rotom from doing what it is mainly there to do, and that's to be fat and to kind of sort of get some really good chip damage off. And the main thing that kind of sort of scares it away is bulky setup sweepers or just setup sweepers in general. Luckily, Game Freak loves Rotom for some stupid reason, and they give it some really cool ways to deter all of that. The main way to deter a lot of the setup that Rotom has is that your opponent could have for Rotom is Trick. You can run Trick Choice Scarf and your opponent is like a Dragon Dance Salamence, and then all of a sudden you trick at the Choice Scarf and then voila, you have a mon that is now not a threat. Since you're looking at this mon and you're like, well, it's kind of sort of straightforward with movesets, what all can it do? That's basically it. It can be bulky, can Volt Switch, it can run some pretty hard-hitting moves like Thunderbolt or Discharge to get paras. It's basically Scald, but electric and paralysis. And then it can run Pain Split. There's also a really cool niche set, I'll call it, that's Resto Chesto. I don't really like it all that much because I think having leftovers on this thing is much better than having a Chesto Berry on it, because realistically you're just using it one time to wake up and then you're done for it, and I don't really like that in a Pokemon just in general. Since this thing only has one weakness in Grass type that Lucario resists the Grass typing, they work out pretty well together, so it's actually a pretty cool type combination just between the two of them. They can take on each other's weaknesses pretty well. Since Rotom is pretty straightforward, there's not a whole lot to talk about in its moveset, which is a little depressing. There's not a whole lot to talk about with its EVs or with its actual ability to do things. It's a bulky pivot. That's basically all it is. You can run Surprise Offensive, but it's there to support Lucario. And what it does very well in that supportive role. Another really cool thing that you could put along with Rotom Wash is a very offensive grass type. Mega Sceptile is a very, very, very cool way to have a pairing with it, because water types are now not a problem. You have a very fast Mon that can outspeed some Scarfers that are slower than base 80, so if you have something like an Emboar, can outspeed a Choice Scarf to Emboar. And you have another mixed nuke, to where they're prepping for Special Lucario. You brought Special Lucario, but they're not prepping for Special Mega Sceptile, so now you have another mixed threat that can go along with Lucario to kind of just throw people off their game all the time. I'm really sorry that this video is so short, but the fact that Rotom is just so straightforward, its stats speak for itself. It can be offensive, a little bit with a Choice Scarf or a Choice Specs to break through some things, but it's mainly going to be bulky, a pivot to drop in your offensive threats, and that's basically what it does. And because it does it so well, I'm forced to give this thing a B. There are other things that could be more versatile to do the exact same job. However, the fact that Rotom matches up so well with Lucario, I kind of had to include them together, but it does what it does well as a bulky pivot, and realistically, it'll never fail you because it's just so fat. Like, it's so fat for no goddamn reason, and it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. But because these two Mons match up so well together, it's a really cool core to build around, and you kind of sort of have a lot of things that you need on your team as it is already. You have your water type to soak up Scalds, you have your electric type for volt switching, you have an immunity to Earthquake, you have two versions of a setup sweeper, you have a steel type for a fairy check, you have a fighting type, you have 3 forms of priority, you have all of this in just 2 Mons, and they just work so well together. Realistically, there's not a whole lot more for me to say about Rotom that I can think of. If you guys can think of anything, make sure you guys let me know down in the comment section, because I feel like I didn't say really anything about it, just the fact that they match up really well together and gave the few reasons why, but it's just a very straightforward Pokemon, and it's good because of it. So if I did miss out on anything, make sure you guys let me know down in the comment section below. But that's basically it. It's a really straightforward Pokemon. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun to use. I personally have used it before. And it's a Mon that is very reliable at what it does. It doesn't have the best recovery, like it has Pain Split, but that's not reliable recovery, so there are negative and positive sides to it, but it does match up very well with Lucario. If you guys have any other ideas for this core to match up well together, make sure you guys let me know down in the comments section as well. And also make sure you guys go check out these guys right here. These are I'm gonna try to get this right. Eden's Blessing, TheTokenMinorities. They also do an awesome league series on both of their channels, so make sure you guys go sub to both of them and let them know that I sent you. With all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Make sure you guys go check out all the links, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.